up to speed, up to speed, up to speed.
Live from the apocalypse, you're all very serious music students until a few diss tracks drop, and then you're giggly teenagers. I understand. It's what the internet made you. This is State of the Game. We're here to save you from all that. My name is Dano, and my body is recovering from apple pie flavored moonshine. So I'm here. I'm sharp, but I'm still feeling that taste ain't coming out. That's a lot of cinnamon. So my co-host with me every week has had a hard time with a lot of heroes going, but OJ Simpson's last words were thank you for being such a good friend, K Diggy. So thank you for joining us and being with us.
I won't touch that one. Yeah, but glad to be here.
we have two people that got together and made something that neither of them had ever made before, which I think is really cool and really exciting. And so, you know, we've had Lukah on for a while, and I've been so proud of the evolution. Like I talked to Lukah after Chicken Wire, right? The album and everything was good, and I actually messaged other podcast people to be like, you should listen to this. This is good shit. And by the end of that year, you were on NPR's best album list above Silk Sonic.
Yeah.
I was like, what a come up. It made me feel good about rap again. Like that we can actually do this. Like what we did with Nas. Like, this is talented. Let's elevate this, right? And you've challenged yourself consistently. So glad you're back on and we can talk because you are still doing it. And it's awesome. So
appreciate you, man. Thank you for having us. Y'all are like family. So this is a walk in the park.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Easy underhanded home run here. And
Thanks.
In terms of producers, right? So I don't know anything about fashion at all. And so I don't know anything about the fashion world, people that are important in fashion. But
neither do I.
Fair. I heard Real Bad Boldy, and it changed my whole trajectory of how I felt about Boldy. Because I was like, we had already heard the best album in the history of Bandcamp, Major on McNichols. We had already heard, the Price of Tea and China. We had already heard all this great Boldy. And then all of a sudden, he teams up with someone I have no idea who the fuck that is. And it's an amazing album. And I'm like, fucking Boldy. So it really changed my trajectory of like, this is someone with incredible taste. So, and then as I followed you and your trajectory, I was like, holy shit, like the collaborators that Real Bad Man has had are a dream team, like a fantasy team of MCs. We're talking about Blue, we're talking about Pink Sifu, we're talking about multiple Boldy albums, like Cool Keith. You just can't fucking beat this lineup that you've managed to get. Your taste is impeccable, sir.
Oh, thank you. Well, now Lukah, add Lukah to the list.
Yeah, right. Now you had that. I mean, when I first heard he was teaming, I was like, that's fucking perfect. That's going to work out quite well.
Oh, yeah.
So that's, And you both are very good at doing unexpected things, I think. I was thumbing through Real Bad Man's catalog, just kind of playing random shit. And I was like, he put fucking Blue together with CL Smooth. Like, Jesus Christ.
That was Blue's idea. I can't take credit for that. I got to CL, but Blue was like, do you know anyone who knows CL? And I was like, probably, but I never thought like I do love Pete Rock and CL Smooth, but like CL was not on my list for like collaborators, but Blue was like, and I was like, cool. It's someone I always respected, but never worked with, So it worked out well. And He was very nice. He was very cool. And when he sent back the verse,
Oh,
you know, sometimes you get a little nervous when like there's some older MCs that you haven't heard in a while, and like you don't know what you're gonna get.
yeah.
And I got a good verse, so I was very happy.
Yeah, Smooth killed that. It was great. And then of course, I don't want to go without the Chalice and the Blade. I think Young Morpheus is an incredible talent, and I think that project is amazing. So, yeah, it's just
Thank you.
you have gotten consistently better and better at what you do. It from my ears, I feel like you're still growing by leaps and bounds each project. I don't know how you feel about it.
I mean, I hope so. I think I think people just get used to it. You
Right.
know, like they get used to what I like how I do things. So it becomes a little more familiar, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. It's less of a shock. But yes, I hope I get better as well.
Yeah, you become a reliable stop on the
Yeah.
like Sonic map, right? Like it's
Yeah.
equivalent of like that place has great hoagies. Like it's just
Yeah. I got it.
yeah.
Smash burgers. They have good smash burgers there.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But this album, to do some nerd shit for a while, okay? Because like I'm nerdy and my process is different. So when I sometimes I will sit around and it's not like I'm like, who's better? I'm sitting there like, if I was Lukah, what would I do? What would I focus on? What is my next level? Right? As an MC. And I think I was, running on the elliptical thinking about this. And I was like, the next level is more medicine and more sugar for it to go down easier. Right? Lukah kind of entered the fuck rap universe of hardcore street shit. And when he did, I was like, he's going to clean up here. This is great. But Lukah was always really connected to the community, to the damage within the community, to the people. So it was never random violence. It was never violence for violence sake. It was always had a heart to it.
Yeah.
And you felt it. But you got the sense that talking about the community, talking about how to do things better was where you wanted to go.
Yeah.
And you wanted to segue from the street shit, from the hardcore stuff that kind of sells a lot of vinyl, to be honest, like in markets. So the way in my mind, I was like, the way he has to do that is to make the music smoother and more digestible so that when you're taking the medicine, it tastes better. And this was all before I heard Temple Needs Water, Village Needs Peace.
Yeah.
And then I was like, shit, Lukah's always way ahead of me. Like, this is fucking awesome. So that was my experience with hearing the project.
Yeah, man. That's like you were saying, the bad man, you just want to continue to get better. I like to keep people guessing. I don't like to always do the same thing. I don't want you to get comfortable. I always want you to be like, what is he going to do next? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Do you think this is a little sweeter and a little bit more people can digest this easier?
I don't want to use sweet. Sweet has a lot of good, especially for our southern listenership. But there are, like, I was thinking about it. One of the most hardcore songs you've ever done is The Serpent Charmer. Like, that is a hard ass song, but it's like hard on a very deep spiritual level.
Yeah.
It's not like, I'm going to kidnap your grandmother, slap her 12 times. It's like, no, this is like, to my bones, I will find you and I will protect this.
Yeah.
And that's like a different level of seriousness, I think.
Yeah, man. Songs like Serpent Charmer, I think, are very important because, like, the snakes are still around to this day.
Sure.
You know what I mean? They just come in different shapes, different colors. You know what I'm saying? They attack from all sides. You kind of got to keep your head on the swivel. And this is not just about violence in the community or black on black crime. This could be spirituality. This could be physicality. This could be any form. You know what I mean? Like snakes attack, and they want to keep people back. I don't know what your snake may be. I don't know what Adam's snake may be through days. You know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying? Like Serpent Trauma, man. The album was created so people could take something from it. I know why I created it, but I made it the way we made it. The way I know I started it off, and Badman added his, but it was created so people could take what they wanted from it. Everybody has a Serpent Trauma. I have multiple of them.
Right.
Multitude of Serpent Traumas.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, and honestly, it's a great thing about hip hop because if you were in, like, I grew up in Maine, it was a very hippie, happy area.
Yeah.
You might have positive parents that don't teach you about snakes, and you're ill prepared, right?
Yeah.
So hip hop was like, look out for this shit, and so that's a good thing.
Right.
Real Batman, when did you know this was going to be a very different project? Like in terms of
probably right when I got the first couple songs back. I think we met in LA and just I played beats for Lukah, and he picked like a lot, and he was like, and I just gave him a batch of beats, and we sort of kind of talked a little about like what we thought it would be. Like MF Doom was referenced a few times. And then he went off back to Memphis to record, and I think I probably got like 3 songs like soon after, and they weren't. It actually took a few of the batches to realize, hey, like there's no cursing on any of these songs, like you get 3 songs you don't know, but then the next 3 come, and I'm like, hey, wait a second, like there's no cursing.
Yep.
And like you're singing, and I'm all for all of that. I'm all for like a concept record.
Yeah.
And then, I knew immediately when he was singing that this was going to be special. So I think like the harmonies were like, oh, okay, like this is different than the way I've heard Lukah before, but I'm not like, I'm excited that we're going somewhere new with these tracks. And then kind of, I think probably after we got through the first couple batches of songs, then we met up on Zoom and like played more beats and like loops and like, the stuff that Luke gravitated towards. I either just looped it on the spot or I like worked on it a little bit and then send him like versions to like write to. But once it was going, I tried to craft it so it all kind of sounded cohesive, based on what he was picking. And then kind of towards the end, I was like, we need a song, like a single, but like single in like air quotes,
right?
Which became like the song with Billy Woods. Was like, hey, we need a song that like is structured more with like verse chorus, and we could get a guest on it, like something that was a little more head noddy, a little more aggressive, because some of the songs are very like spiritual and meditative and like have a lot to say, but like we wanted to get a track that like, at least in my mind, that like everyone could get into as a
foot in the door,
bridge to the record.
Yeah, no, the art of the single, because there's a lot of albums with no singles now that are just like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
But like, you don't want to lose the art of the single because the single can't open the door for you. Yeah.
I mean, a good think of all the great singles there's been,
Right.
when you get excited for an album. It's like the intro to what the album is.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just because I'm older and I remember those times when you get excited, like when you hear something and you're like, oh my God, this album's going to be so good. The single's great,
That song actually worked out for the best because I remember telling Adam and Hollow, I was like, because Adam had the idea and I was like, damn, okay, I need to see how I can add a piece to the already
Yep.
scripted out story. And it made sense because I was like, okay, I'm not speaking from the perspective of an initiate coming through trying to cross over the threshold. And I thought it was dope that he came. That was actually, I meant to tell you that, Adam, that was actually clutch. Because I felt like that if I would have put out the album without that song, I would have felt like I left something out. So that was pretty clutch. That last song with Billy and them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And his Wood's natural material and state of mind makes a lot of sense with what you're doing, especially on this album. So, yeah. But the other thing I didn't get a chance to tell you, Luke, we hadn't talked about since Permanently Blackface, the first expression, I thought was an amazing album. And I wanted to tell you, going from track 8 to track 9, A Colored Night and A Black Man's Worst Fear, I think that was one of the most important writing arcs of the year in terms of making rap music.
Thank you, man. Those were actual real stories, man.
Right.
Yeah. Like A Black Man's Worst Fear, those are like two stories that I combined, but they're real stories. You know what I'm saying? It actually happened. So yeah, man. I don't know, man. Shout out to Adam for backing up Temple because we were supposed to. The goal was to put out Temple last year.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so I called Adam. I was like, Adam, you think it's gonna come out this year? He was like, no, let's push it back to next year. I said, all right, cool. I gotta release something there. And we wrote, I wrote that album and recorded that album in a week.
Whoa. That's wow. That's awesome.
Yep. Wrote it, recorded it in a week. It took Hollow maybe 2 days to actually mix and master it. And yeah, man. It's hard to explain because Temple was already done.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I had to write Permanently Blackface in a way where it didn't seem like it was made after Temple. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, the story I always tell, the first book I wrote took me 16 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a hell of a slog. And then once I finished it, I was feeling good. I was feeling free. And I was like, I'm going to write some shit that's the total opposite. This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
And it was my second novel and it took 9 months.
Okay.
Because I was free. I was happy. I had learned from my previous experience.
Exactly.
And I was rolling. I was in the zone. Yeah.
I told Adam, I said, bro, you don't understand working with you. Hollow and I, we learned so much shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I was just inspired by the theme I created with Temple. And you know, I like to make sure all my albums are connected. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. And I just wanted to hone in. I talk about these problems and these spiritualities all the time in all my music. I just wanted to actually, on both of these projects, Temple and Blackface, I just wanted to like dial in on one thing and actually focused on the ins and outs, the uglies and the beauties of the actual format I'm speaking of. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So whether that's peace or race or, you know what I'm saying, things like that. And it was just dope going from being so up in the clouds mentally, because the mountaintop essentially is a metaphor for the mind. The whole album is about finding peace in your brain. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you want to get simple, if you want to be simple with it. But it was just dope going from being up there with Adam and then Adam adding all the fucking crazy instrumentation and shit to it. Being all the way up there, then having to come down to where we're not adding instrumentation. It's just the loops and the drums. And, you know what I'm saying? I called my granddad to come in and talk on the skits on Permanently Blackface. And it was just super dope to go from two creative worlds because both worlds are actually me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like I like that's why to circle back to the beginning of the conversation, I just want to keep people guessing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just this street cat from South Memphis.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They'll be limiting myself. I don't believe in limitations.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? So it's just all right, cool. I'm in a place, I'm in a safe place, regardless of the internet and how they paint hip hop and you know what I'm saying, or whatever the case may
Right.
be. I still First and Second Amendment, you know what I mean? I'm freedom of
Right.
speech. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna express every part of me in this safe art form that I, you know what I'm saying, fell in love with. So yeah.
It's really important to know, like, if you're an artist and you're starting to establish a fan base, but you don't think your fan base knows how smart you are, that's an advantage, not a disadvantage.
Yeah.
You can surprise them,
Yeah.
and kind of shatter that impression,
Right.
and it'll be fun to do
Yep.
it.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Adam, man.
Yeah,
Adam, man, yeah, man. Me and Adam, I was just telling someone recently. I was just like, it wasn't that we were bumping heads. We just had to learn each other. We were just
right.
yeah, we weren't bumping heads and all that. We were very apologetic to each other when we were bringing up notes and all that. And I'm like, look. And then one day I was just like, all right, he let me do me with the
Yep.
lyrics and all of that. You know what I'm saying? At the beginning, I told him because you know what I'm saying, he wanted choruses, right? And I told him, I said, I mean, I can do them, I'm just not big on them. But then he was like, you don't have to do that many choruses. So him saying that, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that, just let me know, okay, cool. He'll bend, I'll bend. So it made me want to do choruses. You know what I'm saying? Hooks and stuff like that. So yeah, man. Adam's a good dude, good producer, bro. Genius, man.
That's an interesting conversation. It's a tough conversation to have because you've established an audience, Lukah, that like knows you for what you do, right?
Yeah.
And knows you for kind of this like uh voice of death itself kind of delivery. And there's a real vulnerability to singing these hooks for the first time. So to be like, hey, how about you be more vulnerable than you've been in 5-6 years? That's not always easy. So I can imagine it's tough, but
I also think maybe doing a record with me takes a little bit of the pressure off.
right.
Because if it goes bad, it's like, well, it wasn't like my album. It was like a collaborative album, and I look at it as it gives an artist the ability to do shit that they normally wouldn't do, because they can loosen up and try different things, which is I like curating like the beats and the guests and like making it like like the way a director would do a film, like really like which is why like I'll be like, hey, single hook, like and I we talked about hooks in the beginning because I don't enjoy songs that are just verses, and a whole album of just verse songs would be like a record I wouldn't want to I would personally like I'd have a hard time with, or the songs would be really short, like 1.5 minute songs, so I think talking about hooks forces structure where you might not have it, and you could always take out the hook. Like there was a song, the Poet song, I think the verses were like really long, or no,
they were really short.
They were really short, and the hooks came in a lot, and we were like, hey, the hooks come in too much. Like and we went back and kind of like moved some stuff around and put like verses kind of like right after each other to spread out the hooks because it felt too hooky, and it's more for like to kind of get the conversation going in like structure, and like not having songs that really like that have structure and aren't just like verses, whether we keep the hook. whether we keep the hooks or not.
What do you think a good hook does for a song?
Ooh, I like this.
I mean, it's supposed to bring you in. It's supposed to make the audience like give them something to kind of sing along to or rap along to, or it's supposed to be something that helps the audience connect to the song. Because if you're listening to a song that's like 2 minutes of verse, like there's gonna be stuff in that's gonna resonate with you, but like you're not gonna be able to pick up on it and rap along with it the same way you would with like a good hook. And that might
Adam. I don't know, Adam.
You don't know? All right.
I don't know.
I was gonna
Some of
say
the greatest.
Give me some examples. Give me some examples.
I give you one right now. I can
Sure.
rap the entire No Tear song by Scarface on the Diary.
I know, but
There's no hook.
it probably took you a long, like you didn't get it on the first or second listen. That's what I'm saying.
Crazy. I love that.
That's a song that resonates with you, that you've listened to many, 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 many times. There's rap songs that I can do every verse to, but I've listened to them enough because I love those songs.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Whether they have hooks or not. I'm talking about first, second, third time listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think ideally, the way I think of it would be like a great hook is almost the logo for your song. Like it's like if you think about like the Jordan logo, the Air Jordan logo, that is what it was like to watch Jordan, right? That is the essence of it, right? You're seeing him fly through the air. Like a great hook is the character of the song. It's just repeatable and fun and melodic, but it's still, if you break down the words, it still is what it's about, if that makes sense.
And it also breaks up the verses. It gives you a second to like take a breath before it jumps back in, regardless of if it's catchy or not. It breaks up the song and it gives it, I like sometimes when I'm doing songs and I'm arranging stuff, after the hook or the chorus, I'll put like 4 bars of just like beat before like the verse kicks back in again. It gives you a second, like I'm talking about listeners that are really listening, not just like skipping through the song. Like if you're sitting there with the song, you're supposed to go on a journey, and the journey can't be all, driving fast on the highway. You still have to like slow down, speed up. And I think that's what like the hook helps give it structure, whether it's just a 1-word hook or even like nothing in the chorus, but like a horn, you know what I mean? Like it's just a break.
And but I do agree in the sense that with Lukah, in the sense that I don't think hooks would have made sense for When the Black Hand Touches You. I think that like I think you were straight verses on that because you were like, no, the mood needs to be the mood, right? Like and
then that comes from a competitive standpoint as an MC,
right?
But like Adam says, working with him, it allows you to do something you're not known to normally do, which is why Permanently Blackface was so easy for me to do, because I just got done practicing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? With Adam. And I enjoyed those breaks. So now when I perform them, I'm not winded as much.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So hooks help like that too. But you know what I'm saying? I don't know, it was dope adding a spice I took out. You know what I'm saying? I took that out purposely just to show that I could keep your attention with just verses. I've always been able to do hooks. So it's just dope to bring it back.
And hold on, let me clarify. If the point of the album is to do to do something that doesn't involve hooks, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think I like there's nothing wrong with that. Like that's like a statement in itself. I just think like, talking about what Luke and I were discussing at the very beginning of making this record of like, hey, like there is going to be choruses, right? And he was like, I don't really do choruses. But then I was like, I was like Really? I remember some parts that had like a chorus or a hook or something. So I went back and like just double checked that I wasn't crazy. And like there are songs that have
It's like
choruses.
one song on each album, man. Like the
But you were good. I love I love the characterization real bad man gives himself of like you want to do a fun side thing, come over here. Kind of reminds me of there was an interview I was watching where like Conan O'Brien used to write for SNL. He gets his own late night show and he's still in contact with the SNL people. And so the SNL players would come over and be like, I got a sketch, but it was too weird. They wouldn't air it. He's like, bring it over here. Let's do it on my show. Nobody cares. It's 12:30, you know?
Yeah.
And so he would like have Will Ferrell doing wild ass shit, like just having fun because like he would give them the blank check that no one else would. So that's kind of a cool space to open up and be like, yeah, let's do whatever, you know?
Yeah. And then when we're working, then it becomes like an album. You know what I mean? But like it's not. There's I guess a little less pressure of like, hey, this is like a side project,
right?
You know.
That's cool.
I'm proud to say this is a collaboration, but this is a Lukah project.
Yeah.
I'm proud to say that.
Straight up.
So it's a crazy album.
Hey, what was your first thoughts hearing this?
I mean, it's interesting because I listened to Permanent Blackface first, and then this project, Temple. So the contrast was very enlightening to me, and to hear him say that the Temple, village, was it?
Temple needs water.
You have like a shorthand.
Temple needs water.
Temple needs water. Okay, we'll go with that.
Do it.
Because I thought, like, you know, when you hear albums, you think of them like they're released, like, okay, the way that they're released is the order that they were made.
Right.
So to hear that Temple Needs Water was made first, it almost gives like now it kind of gives the Permanent Blackface a different context for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's cool. I don't know if I told you, Batman, when it was released, the day it was released, I hit Lukah via Instagram and I said, "You made a fucking Roy Ayers album?"
Yeah, he did.
Like, holy shit!
Yeah.
That's just how it sounded to me. It sounded like really pretty and floating, but grounded in cool drum sounds and like maybe unique drum sounds, conga type stuff. And I was like, wow, this is cool. Like this is a Roy Ayers album.
Yeah, man. Shout RP to Roy. You know what I'm saying? GOAT for sure. Oddly, I didn't have him in mind when I was making the joint. So when you said that, when you sent that to me, I was like, damn, this is like that. Yep. You know who I had in mind was like songs in the key of life.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was going after. Yep. To Pimp a Butterfly. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. I was just trying to like create what I just named. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully the world sees what me and Adam did and can sense that and take something from that. What did y'all take from it?
Ooh, I got so much. This is an album for me. It's so nerdy. It's awesome. Like there's parts of this album that are about the nutrients in the soil and shit. It's just fucking awesome. This album rules. I'm gonna spend the rest of the year decoding it and shit. Anyway, but where I'm at right now, because I definitely think I'm at the bunny slope of understanding this album. But I see it as a story in 3 acts. I see it as a story in 3 acts. I think it's one of the weird albums where like I'm so glad it doesn't have any more songs. Like it's perfect that it ends where it ends. Yeah. And so the first act is really like where you get to know the beauty and the ugly of the world.
Right.
Right. And that I started to think about this as 3 acts because of Mountaintop. Mountaintop is such a different ass song. I really haven't heard anything like Mountaintop. Like, it's startling, you know, how earnest it is, how real it is, like in terms of like vegetables are good for your body kind of shit. Like, and it's real dope. And it asserts the positive things that we're fighting to keep.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think that's, but yes, you have songs like the one with Woods, right? The initiate piece that shows you what we're up against.
Yeah.
And then I think Act 2 deepens the stakes. Act 2, like what, songs 7 and 8 are the first times we hear people say Temple needs water, village needs peace, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stookie Brothers, they
Yeah.
say it, and then Cypher, who is like, Cypher's the most important guest on the album to me.
Then I told Adam that, I said, yo, Cypher has to be on both songs. He's an important piece. And then like it was just cool that I got lost in the music with Adam, and Adam got lost in the story that I was creating.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He started like talking to me like, yo, if this character is this and this character is that, then we got to do this. You know what I'm saying? So my bad, man. It's just dope. You're catching some stuff.
That's awesome. No, yeah. Cypher's critical, and part of it is like, I keep coming back to the Shadow Dancer, right? Because like, you very seriously laid out everything, and Cypher kind of bounces into the song, having a ton of fun, but being like, damn, there's violence over here, and there's cool shit over here. We better be serious and focused. But he's still like bouncing while doing it. It's just like, he's so fun to listen to, but he understands what we're talking about, what the mission is. So that's the second act. The third act, to me, starts with the Serpent Charmer. The farmer ends the second act, right? Because then we're back into what we're protecting, right? We're grounded in the village. We're grounded in the soil. This album scales down the community of the world into a village we need to protect. And the farmer explains why really well. Connection to Mother Nature, connection to resources, no pesticides, all that stuff. And then the Serpent Charmer is like, we will fight for this shit. That's the third act. The third act is, we will fight for this shit. The servicemen, right? Like, we will protect this motherfucker. Like that, we're here. Yeah, so to me, that's the arc I feel as I listen to it, if that makes sense.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's dope, bro. Did the beats feel aligned to each act?
I like it. And it's weird. There's like, I guess I was thinking about Wood's album with Kenny Siegel, Maps from last year, right? Because there's a lot of different sounds on it, but Soft Landing kept pulling me back in because it was so tender, and it was such a tender song for Woods. It kind of became the key that unlocked the album, and The Cleansing is that for me on this. The Cleansing is peak Roy Ayers moment of like, fuck, what is this? This is like glittery and beautiful. And it got me interested, like, what is this? What is all of this? How does it connect? So it's been an interesting experience with that.
I wanted to ask so for both you and Adam, where were you guys at personally when you guys were making this album? Like, what was your headspace like when you were making it?
I was juicing heavily. My wife has taken over that duty now.
Like juice, like
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
No A-Rod shit. No.
yeah, thanks. Vegetables and stuff like that. I began meditating a lot more around that time. I was also like the strangest thing, one of the craziest things was during the creation of this album, I called Cities of Eve. I was like, bro, I said, bro, you feel that? And he was like, bro, it's crazy. I already know what you're talking about. And he knew that I was talking about this shit was feeling unbalanced. You know what I'm saying? Without me even having to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Around this time, like the Mississippi River was like at its lowest. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it broke records. You know what I'm saying? I was like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? This crazy ass police brutality. You know what I'm saying? The Tyree Nichols shit was going on during the creation of this album. That's why that song, The Poets.
That shit's hard. Yeah.
That song is about that. Like I hit up Adam. I was like, Adam, bro, I need. So basically, that song was created to like at this point, you know what I'm saying? We're at the top of the mountain. You're about to cross the threshold. Let me show you now that you've gone through all these processes. Let me show you from this view what's going on down there now. You know what I'm saying? And I hit up Adam, bro, and I was like, bro, I need something crazy for this. And he said that crazy ass beat. You know what I'm saying? And it just made me do what I did on it. But yeah, bro. So there was a lot of shit going on. My people were shutting down bridges, protesting. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
People were my city was super dark, but in my home, it didn't feel like that. You know what I'm saying? Like because I was with the wife and the kids, right. You know what I'm saying? And we chilling, you know what I'm saying? I got this protected right here. But when you go outside, bro, you just feel sad and down, and you know what I'm saying? Like just the energy of the whole city, it was fucked up. So I was wanting to write something to brighten that. And I know, I think some shit was going on in LA. They were fucking being set on fire, wood fires. And all of that stuff was going on around the time when I was writing the album. So I just thought there was a lot of shit going on. And I think I thought you know what I'm saying, a soundtrack needed to be made for the movie that was going on. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I was.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I think for me, I guess it's also my job as a producer to feed off of Lukah's energy.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's the one really like crafting the story. And it's sort of my job to like, I don't know, give the foundation that the story is told on top of. So when I get a call, I need something crazy, this is what I'm feeling, then I take that in and try to like come up with something. Or I already have something that I'm working on, or try this, you know, hearing, you know, it's almost like a weird form of therapy. Like I need something that feels like this, and then I have to figure out what that means beat wise or, you know, song wise. So I think for me, for the record in general, you know, I don't think the record would have happened the same way if Luke and I didn't meet in person in Los Angeles and spent like a few hours together. I think that like really set the foundation, and we got along really well. It wasn't like an awkward, like I've had meetings where I meet people and it's like super awkward, and it's just like, oh, I don't play beats, and then like, you know, or there was no like weird awkward moments. So we got along well. He you know, I don't think when we met we were planning on necessarily doing like we had talked about a project, but he was just like, I'm gonna be in LA, and I was like, oh, come through, like I'll play beats. And I played beats, and he was like, you know, we just started putting them in a folder. And I think you know, as the record progressed, the energy of Lukah, what he was saying, how the songs were coming out, to me that was what fueled, you know, the second half of songs that eventually became the record. because what he was doing was not what I expected in a good way. So it was like, okay, I can't just I have to like make stuff that goes the direction of where you want to take this record.
Mhm. And
So
I was going to ask the follow up to that. How many songs in were you before you had a handle on what the story of the project was, on what it was?
I think we talked about it
It
before.
didn't take long.
Yeah, it was. I mean, all the songs were named. Like they all came through with names. It was pretty obvious by like the fourth song that there was like that there was a pattern here that
Yeah.
I was, and each of them was like it was like a person or like it was a person or an event. It was um
I
and
wrote a story that I sent to Adam.
yes,
Too.
Oh,
that was
wow.
sort of at the end. That was towards the end, I believe.
It wasn't at the beginning?
No, because we were talking about doing like a comic strip, and then that's when like you wrote something. I think we were like pretty close to being done, if I remember correctly.
Shit, I remember that completely.
Yeah, but I know we talked about it. We talked
Yeah.
about the record as it like every time he'd send stuff. I'm pretty sure we got on a phone or a Zoom or a FaceTime and just kind of like talked it through. But yeah, it was a very collaborative process, and sometimes like I put out records where it's not as collaborative. It's more of a real bad man thing where I work with someone and um, that artist might not be as involved to like craft like this record that we're doing together. But Lukah was like, like it was a partnership as opposed to just like a collaboration, which I think shows when in the finished product.
Yeah, and I think it's consistent with Lukah really wants the best of everyone that he works with, right?
Yes.
So like he wants to look you in the eyes and be like, what do you think? What is your best work on this?
Yeah.
And that's why you have these kind of long, positive, sustained relationships, right? With Walls and Saul and yeah. So that's good.
Yeah, man. Adams, yo, me and Adams, we got crazy shit that we gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a home outside of my home. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope.
You should put the written story that you sent him, like you should put a scanned copy on like the inside of the vinyl.
We did not think to do that.
We were gonna do like a comic strip, like of it. You just sort of like you run out of time as an independent record label person.
Right.
It's either like, hey, we're gonna spend another 6 months like slowly getting all this stuff done, or we're just gonna put out the record when we can. So the vinyl, it does have a lot of stuff in it. It has a lot of drawings. It has, each song. A lot of the songs have multiple people playing on them. So there's like full credits. There's the big painting that's the album cover. There's a lot. The album's a gatefold, or the deluxe is the most deluxe edition is a gatefold, which I've never gotten to do, but always wanted to. It's gonna be a very beautiful vinyl packaging.
All of it is, Adam, is gonna be a beautiful piece of art.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can put it next on a bookshelf, not your vinyl shelf. You're gonna put it on your bookshelf.
Yeah. No, that's one of the cool things about the Badman universe is like there's a lot of texture and style in your work, right? It's not it's very connected to it's as connected to the fun 70s cartoons that I love as it is to fine art in this weird way in my head. There's like I don't know, maybe a sprinkle of Hanna-Barbera feel to like some of the.
I mean, like the Real Bad Man logo is definitely like Boris-ish and Spy vs. Spy-ish. But it comes from it comes from 70s.
Yep.
you know, 70s neighborhood watch. It's a redrawn, reinterpreted version of the neighborhood watch crime logo that I still see in my neighborhood, where it was like, if you see, you know, it's like it's a
Yeah. Oh.
be like the
Oh,
villain.
that's amazing. That's
So, but
amazing.
it's like, it's, you know, it's a different angle, it's a different
Yeah.
it's a different person, but it's a shadowy figure, you
Amazing.
know, and it's inspired by, you know, 70s cartoon comic books. You
Yeah.
know, that's like
The logo with the phone is the funniest, Jack.
I love that shit.
Whenever I see that when I get the trivia, I'm like, who is he calling? So
Yeah. So what was it like, Batman? Fitting into the existing universe with Hollow Saul, and like, how was that relationship? What did Saul add to the situation?
I mean, it was, so I'll say this. I call him Logan, but like, Logan's mixed a bunch of my projects since.
Oh,
So it
wow.
went well.
Yeah.
It went well. Like, I really, really like that Lukah has this like community of people that like back him and support him. I think it's wonderful. And I, you know, I originally, Lukah was like, "Hey, I want my guy to mix the record," and I was like, like, I have a guy who mixes my records." But it just so happens my guy is very busy,
Yeah.
and it takes a long time to mix the record. So I was like, you know what? I will take this chance. And I was like, as long as, like, you know, he's you know, like, I hadn't met Logan Hollow. I hadn't met him before we started, but it was great. I mean, the working relationship was great from the beginning. He's a very good, like, he's got very good ear. He's really like easy to work with. He's okay if I like bug him to like turn a hi-hat down after like the fourth mix because it's like bugging me. You know, he's really good. So I now have two different people that I work with, like, to mix. I don't like mixing my own stuff. I feel like there are people that are way better at mixing vocals and like hearing sonic things that like where they're supposed to sit, that I might not, that I don't hear it the same way. So I feel like it's like I take the songs as far as I can. I do my own mix, I do my own EQs, and then I send it to someone who who's more of an engineer, more of a mixer that can like make stuff fit, you know, better. So uh stepping into that world was great. I think we had it was a little bumpy at the beginning, but because I like to like add, you know, I don't like, the song is not done until it's like finally mixed, and I like to tamper and tweak and edit and just keep adding stuff. And Lukah likes it when he rapped to it, that's it. And so we had to like like the beginning of mixing, there was a lot of like, oh, I added it. Why'd you add that? I like it and I don't. And so eventually we found middle ground. There's some songs that probably have like less stuff than I would like, and there's probably songs that has more stuff than Lukah likes, but for the most part, no one at home who's listening to the record will know any of that.
No.
It's just us. It's us and Hollow are the only ones that know that there should have been drums in this song and they got taken out. So
sometimes great collaborations are someone smart to argue with. That is and that pushes both parties, and that's dope. Yeah.
I'm also not used to it. Like I some of the projects, you know, like that I've done, like, you know, when it's done, I send it, and if whoever I'm working with doesn't like it, they'll say something. But most of the time, like, it's like, yeah, it's cool, or like my vocals are too low, or what, it's like something minor. But I definitely learned a lot working with Lukah and his process, that I've incorporated since, you know, with like future projects.
And
That's
you know,
awesome.
it took it that I was telling someone I was like, I said Adam made it safe for me to trust him because I'm not just the MC, I'm a producer too.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I was just like, I had to like, because even with my team, it's like I'll call Walls and have him arrange some stuff and take some stuff out and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I had to realize that me and Logan, we had a conversation. He was like, yo, Lukah, you gotta like take the producer hat off.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And so and Adam would just like say certain things. Now I was just like, all right, cool, I'm gonna sit back. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Let's see how this works out.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, he made it safe to trust him. You know what I'm saying? And it was cool. You know what I'm saying?
Because like the first and second time that you sit back and go, all right, man, let's see how it works out. And it works out, you're like, okay, you know, I believe in you.
And it was crazy.
That cool part is with Hollow, like a great mixing and mastering person is almost like a musical empath. They have to be able to like understand the mission of the record better than like a lot of people to really make everything sound the way it should sound, you know?
And he has to be completely neutral.
Right.
You know, I think he had it the hardest.
That makes sense.
Process. You know, because like he and I were one. So he kind of had to separate himself from me.
Right. We're just taking sides and say,
You know what I'm saying? Yep. And yeah, man, it was just a beautiful process. It was growing pains, but it was dope growing pains. Like we weren't like pissed or you know what I'm saying? It was just like, God damn, how are both of these fucking genius creative minds are gonna work this shit out? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like how are they going to? I don't know. I like to think the ancestors was helping. You know what I'm saying on during this process. You know what I'm saying? If I want to be spiritual about it, because there were at some point in times when I was writing this stuff, I was in a trance just writing. Like I don't even tell you they were coming quick. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And then like, yeah, man, it was a dope process, peaceful process too.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think a stressful studio session or a stressful anything is really beneficial,
right?
For especially a record like this.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
I think everyone involved, you know, wanted it to be great, and everyone's intentions were in the right place. But I think the artists in all of us, you know, was where the heads bump.
Yeah. And this is not just a concept album. This is like as tight a concept album as something like AC Alone's Book of Human Language. Like this is beat by beat, the story unfolds. Like it's there can be no missteps. This is not a loose concept album affords you the ability to kind of do something that people don't understand and get away with it. But something like this, it's you put a lot of pressure on delivering the story all the way to the end. So that's a lot. Kay, did you have any standout runs on this thing, or did you have any feel for?
No, I mean, I think I'm gonna have to spend a little bit. I think it's one of those albums that you guys spend a little bit more time.
Yeah, dude.
With, I mean, it all like really just it really blended together. Like when I listened to it, I didn't see it with the track listing. It just kind of blended into like one experience, you know?
Yeah, you didn't get. Yeah, it takes a while to pick things apart.
Right.
It's so unified. It's such a unified journey
Yes.
soundtrack, like Luke calls it soundtrack. I mean, that's kind of exactly what it is, right? So yeah,
So yeah, you don't see. I didn't really see it as like individual. It was just like an experience. There's some albums where it's just like you're in the experience for an hour. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's that type of listening.
So
That's what I was going for.
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So, okay, where does this fall for you in Lukah's catalog? Where you've heard a lot of Lukah's catalog?
Yes, I mean this Temple Needs Water. It was, from what I've heard, it was like a different, like you said, the color palette was a little bit different than what I've heard from him in the past. My experience with him. So I thought that was a great. It's interesting. Like an artist, you got to be able to paint with different color palettes and try different things.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is going to be the anchor of the discography, right? The way To Pimp a Butterfly is the anchor of Kendrick's discography, right?
Well,
Because whether or not you love that record, you can't make that record. Right.
And I think it was the gateway. I think like once you make a To Pimp a Butterfly or Temple Needs Water, it almost frees you. Like you can't be labeled, you can't be boxed in. So now you can explore whatever direction you want to go into, and people will accept it.
Right.
And that's the beautiful thing about like Kendrick and To Pimp a Butterfly. Once he made that album, he's free to do whatever. Because once you make that leap and take that risk, you're free to do whatever you want and go in whatever direction your heart tells you to go.
Yeah.
So
people saw the ceiling was way higher than they could even think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they were like, "Oh shit!" And I hope that is where this sits for this project. What both of you? What has the reactions been so far?
For me, I haven't really because I think it's one of those albums people actually have to sit with.
Yeah.
I want to grow with. I want to be a part of the time, if that makes sense.
Yep.
I really haven't I mean, yeah, we've had little write-ups here and there that, they break down the album, shouts out to the album, and it's dope, but I don't think you could give a proper, I don't know. It's just like, it took me a minute to sit with something like Songs in the Key of Life. Now, that was my soundtrack as a child when my mom was cleaning up.
Exactly.
I sat with that album for multiple years until I really understood what the hell was going on that project.
Yeah.
Same thing with To Pimp a Butterfly for me. Yeah, I still hear something new and find some type of different understanding when I listen to that project. Same thing with Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Like, I was just listening to that album today, and shit is fucking crazy. You know what I'm saying? And but I really haven't paid attention to the responses just yet.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
I see stuff, you know what I'm saying? Reshare the team, you know what I'm saying, reposting it and people throwing flames, but not really
a conversation. Yeah.
And I guess I think this is a record that will take time. It's a record that will probably be passed on. Like, hey, have you heard this? You should check it out. And yes, there are a lot of flames on Instagram posts, which which is great. But I think the response of people that have listened to it has been exactly what I think we set out to do when we finished the record, and we were like, damn, this is a good record. But I think for it's going to take a little bit of time and patience for people to really listen to it, and because you got to listen to it all the way through. It takes you on a journey. It's not like a quick put it on and skim through and find the 5 songs you like, and it's almost like one long ass song.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. It's gonna the reactions are gonna be interesting to see because we go through a lot of this shit in hip hop where people will be on social media being like, "Oh, this garbage that's bad for the community. I want hip hop without the terrible profanity that is about uplifting the people." And then you put out something like this, and you're like, "Okay, so you buying it?" Like, because you've been complaining a lot. It's right here, you know. So yeah,
Yeah. Hey, you know, people will hear it, man. I think it'll spread the way it needs to spread.
yep,
I think it's gonna be one of those things where like back in the day, like how you would have to hear about stuff is like word of mouth. I think I think I think it'll be a lot more. I think it'll be more special if it's passed around like that than versus the internet. I know the internet is gonna help pass it on, of course. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Those are the days we're in right now. But I think it's something a little bit more special about it being word of mouth or somebody sitting at their desk and they're telling the person next to them, like, yo, you check this out. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I think it's gonna do what it's meant to do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna grow with it
right.
and just keep working.
Next step, Tiny Desk concert. Bring Cypher with you. Get it
Yeah.
all done. I think that would be.
Yeah.
I would love to see the Tiny Desk crowd digesting this stuff. It
Yeah.
would be awesome. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, man. Okay, do you have anything else? You want to go to recommendation corner?
Oh no, let's go to recommendation.
Recommendation corner. So much good music that is out. I wanted to give a shout. We just booked it for this month, but um the gentleman that owns Fake Four out of Connecticut is Chesky, and he's a bit of like a underground legend around here, and just released the first half of his last album, um, and it is just gorgeous. Um, and we're gonna talk to him later. It's called "Bring Us the Head of Francisco Falls," Part One. Um, Crazy album.
It's
Child
crazy.
actor beats crazy on that. Um, yeah, Rap Ferrera's on that. Just a crazy, crazy dope project. And I got to see Chesky perform some of these songs live, and it was amazing, one of a kind in that regard. So, yeah, the other one, let's go. Former guest of the show, up and coming, Hype, did an album with Trox. I think it might be an EP, 7 songs. Really dope. Recognize Ali's on the first one. Super dope. Project continues to grow. I appreciate it. The other one, maybe the last one, is I will shout out the Spillage Village album with that has JID, Earth Gang. I got my son into that. My son is into rap music now. He's becoming a JID aficionado, and I got him listening to Mecca and all these songs. So that's cool. Yeah, good times. So, Lukah, my son has discovered Nas.
Yeah.
He's like, "Have you heard of Nas?" And I was like, "Let me play you 3 songs from Illmatic." And when I played him, it ain't hard to tell. He was like, "What is this?"
How old is he?
10. 10. And so
He's alive now.
he's been running Illmatic over and over again. And so whenever I pull him aside, I'm like, "Yo, this is rapper you should hear." He's like, "Is he Nas though?" Like, come on, man, you can't hit me like this. But I played him the Spree video with off Black Hand, and he was just like, "Whoa," and I was like, "Yeah, this is This guy's favorite MC is Nas, second favorite MC is Scarface. So we are, my top two and your top two are just flip. I'm with it. So this guy's values align with where you're at, son.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's
welcome.
Good. Yeah.
Welcome.
He's dialed in.
Yeah, hell yeah.
He's listening to Outkast and Nas, and he's getting up on it. So
you introduced him to Face?
I think he's a little too young for Face. I just think that the utter nihilism of Face, like you really have to like nobody has less faith in the world than Scarface. Like the one whenever I think about Scarface, first thing that comes to my mind is do you remember The Untouchable?
You remember De Niro?
The Untouchable album.
Oh, the album.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
And there's a song called Money Makes the World Go Round.
Yeah.
And he just fucking whispers it like he doesn't even care. He just whispers it like he's quiet and sad about it. Like Money makes the world go round. It sucks. He's amazing. He's an amazing person. I love him so much. But there's a lot of recommendation. Real Bad Man, what are you listening to?
Ooh, let me open my Spotify. I mean, I the Rock Marciano record I listened to. I really like that. It's not an album yet, but the Beth Gibbons from Portishead record.
Oh shit! Is that out?
I really like the two singles.
Oh, I gotta check in.
Let me see. I mean, I
Beth Gibbons.
I have just a long playlist of stuff. It's not an album, but that Maxo Cream album, the single, "Know Then You a Ho" is great.
Oh, I love that so much.
The Mooch Mugs record I like. I've enjoyed the Talib Kweli Madlib singles so far.
Oh yeah, I haven't heard it yet.
Trying to think what else. I mean, I listen to a lot of older stuff as well. I'm always like, I'm always in like a shuffle mode. But yeah, I guess recently, the Schoolboy Q record.
Oh, Blue Lips, absolutely.
Yeah. Blue Lips.
Crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for the Beth Gibbons record.
Yeah.
The Shabaka record. Shabaka, who played on a bunch of the songs on the Lukah record. He just put out a record. That's very cool.
Buzzing about the Shabaka record.
Yeah. Very, very, very good record. But it's a record I have to spend more time with.
Yeah.
Just like our record. It's not a quick listen.
A lot of beautiful shit out there, which is why I don't want to pollute the airspace with any nonsense talk about important rappers pillow fighting in public. Lukah, what do you listen to?
Oh, like I was just telling you in the earlier part of the interview, I was bumping Mr. Morale.
Yeah, right.
Bumping that, and I've been on a little West Coast journey. Like I downloaded. I was so pissed because I went to my Apple Music search in my library and I typed in MC8 and I only had 2 songs. And I was like, what the fuck? So I went and downloaded his whole discography, or at least his first 4. So I've been bumping that. I've been bumping the Murder Was the Case soundtrack.
Oh, I love that shit. Yeah.
And I came across just watching videos because I'm in the process of I'm finishing up another album, and I've just been watching videos, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. So Natural Born Killers popped up on YouTube with Ice Cube and Dre. I started flipping out, bro. Like,
oh, that's right. But the Murder Was the Case soundtrack has the most Dog Pound song of all Dog Pound songs.
Which one?
What Would You Do is
thanks.
Most Dog Pound song of all Dog Pound songs. This
Yep.
just the chorus of like, what would you do if you could vote me in my group? But you can't. So don't even think about it. And it's like
Yeah.
such a cool.
Yeah.
It's an
That
optical
album-
illusion of a hook. It's
Yep.
amazing.
So
Yeah.
yeah, man. I've been on this little West Coast journey, man. Was bumping that. I was bumping America's Most Wanted. I bumped the Chronic recently. You know what I'm saying? Because it felt good in the city. Like the city's warming up. So like I put the Chronic on and was riding around to the Chronic. So yeah.
No, I tried to play my son the new Blue album with Out of the Blue with Blue and Shafiq Hussein. And it was so West Coast. He's like, I'm East Coast. I don't know about this. You know, and I'm like, just stop it. You're 10. Right. Relax. That album's amazing, by the way. Out of the Blue. Amazing. Kay, what do you listen to?
You know, actually, I've been listening to a lot of Kendrick this week, and I watched. So he's got the Mr. Morales Big Stepper tour on Amazon Prime. So I actually watched that for the first time. That's and cool. You know what I'll say is, you know, the thing that I walked away with is you can tell a lot about an artist by their concerts. A lot of I'm sorry. You can tell a lot about what an artist thinks about his fans by watching their concerts and their live performances. So I highly recommend taking a look at that if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. By the way, Kay, 4 days from now, I'm going to see Cypress Hill, Far Side, and Souls of Mischief live.
Oh wow.
In Boston. So that'll be nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice.
It's gonna be good.
Who's the headline? Who's going last?
Cypress Hill. Yeah. Yeah, man. No, I think the first 3 Cypress Hill albums, I think that is the best 3-album run in hip hop. I love
groups or period.
Over De La Soul?
Over De La Soul.
And Tribe?
I don't understand, man.
I hear you.
I think it's up there. I think it's up there.
Yeah, fact.
It's definitely up there.
I gotta.
I mean, and by the way, De La gets better as you get older. That's the wild shit about De La. Is like I love Balloon Mind State way more than I ever have in my life because I'm smarter now and I can hear all the good shit going on.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, I saw De La live at Rock the Bells, and it was like crazy. Whoa! Like it's so they have an incredible catalog, and obviously the Tribe has that case certainly. But
I mean, I think the first Cypress record has aged amazingly compared to a lot of other records from that era. Like that record still sounds amazing.
Right, because it's 1991.
Yeah.
It's 91 is before the crime. Like it's so that's like CNC Music Factory era, you know? It was
like DOS Effects.
Right.
Not DOS Effects era. Like I remember people wearing the Cypress tees, like, and they like the logo was so cool,
right?
And the back of the shirt said like the funky Cypress Hill shit, like in cute, like big bold writing, like it became a thing around LA.
Busta had a crazy
forward. Busta's a good one too. Those because that when Disaster Strikes, the first album to When Disaster Strikes, ooh.
I mean, you can go even Extinction Level.
Yeah, ELE. Ooh.
Yeah.
It's a good one. It's a good run. It's a damn but yeah, and I shout out friend of the show, Zilla Rocca. I went on Call Out Culture and I brought the topic of like the albums with the best hooks of all time. And they like Zilla brought Black Sunday. Black Sunday's hooks are crazy. You know, and of course, being master of the nerdy and obscure, I brought Kilo Ali's organized bass. But that's where I'm at. So also Kay, I am reading Octavia Butler's Dawn book, and it's fucking incredible. I'm so happy that I tapped in. All my timeline, very intelligent hip hop people were like, Octavia Butler's the shit. I'm like, I gotta dig into this.
Okay.
It's great. 1987, covering all the shit we deal with today, way ahead of its time. Lean, beautifully written. Yeah, crazy. So,
yo, send me that title in IG.
Yeah. It's the first of a series, and it covers like all the shit we cover in it. I've never read any science fiction that approached this story like this. And a black woman writing it with a black woman main character in 1987, dealing with all these issues. It's fabulous. So can't say enough about it. Yeah. Thank you for coming on. This has been fantastic. Obviously, anything drops, let us know. We're here to support. Yeah. Go to realbadman.com. Incredible shit. Always. Click the sale tab. Top up. Fill the cart.
Yes. Fill the cart. Help us get rid of old stuff before the new stuff comes in.
Exactly.
That's the goal.
The goal. Are we gonna get Lukah merch?
Yeah, we're the vinyl's still in the I guess test pressings are in.
Right.
We're probably a few months away from vinyl dropping. But the vinyl is very special. Like the vinyl's, it's probably the best packaging I've done for any of the Real Bad Man releases. You know, it's gatefold, like I said before. Like it's very special. So it's gonna probably be a slightly more expensive than our normal vinyl would be, but we all felt like this record is worth the extra spend.
Yeah, no question.
If you're buying this record, it's going in the collection, you know, to hand down to your kids. Like, this is a great record here. You need to listen to this.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, this is an album that reminds you to stay close to what is real. And we need that in our life sometimes, because there's a lot of temptation to get away from what is real. So, yeah, thank you for making it. Thank you for taking the time. And thank you everybody for checking it out. And stay with us, because holy shit, the lineup we have coming up is crazy. So we're talking to Cavalier, we're talking to some crazy people, and with the yeses are coming easier and easier. So yeah, stay with us.
Say less.
What will tomorrow bring?